Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Grooming Business Awards show. Tonight, we will receive a wonderful woman from Australia, a lady who, while remaining discreet, has been able to bring great advances to our industry, particularly in education. With me this evening, Mrs. Natalie West. Good evening, Natalie, and thank you for being with us tonight.
It's a pleasure.
So, you are from Australia, which is an extremely beautiful and really, really big country, well, compared to mine. And but contrary to what we might think, it's not very populated compared to its size. So, do you know how many groomers are there in your country, approximately?
That's a good question, and it's a difficult question to answer because we don't have a lot of information or data around that. But I do know that there are approximately 4 million dogs and about 3 million cats in Australia. So when you think about it, it's not that many. It's not that many compared to where you are, and it's a big deal. So we've only got a population of I think around 28 million. So I think over COVID though. And we are in COVID times at the moment, I think the population of dogs would have tripled.
Okay.
Yeah, there seems to be a puppy on every corner at the moment.
I hope it's not too much doodles, though.
Of course, it's all doodles.
Oh, no. Well, we don't have doodles in France. We're quite lucky with that.
Yes,
well, we
indeed.
have some, but we just call them mutt, So, oh well. Anyway, so for how long have you been a groomer?
Well, I started grooming actually when I was thinking when I was about 23, 24, what I was going to do with my life. And I traveled and I actually went to Paris and traveled through Europe. And I just fell in love with how people looked after their dogs. We had them, I was walking around and they were in restaurants, they were in the shops, they were out the front of shops, they were in people's arms, and they were so well groomed and so much a part of the culture. And back then, which is around about 25, 30 years previous, dogs are really much, they were a great part of our family life, but they would also have an outdoor life where they lived pretty much outside. And that has somewhat changed now. They're back, where they're in and very much a part of the couch life or the bed life in a home. So I've been grooming for about 30 years.
Oh, and did you started your professional career with grooming, or were doing something before?
I've come from a background of service, and I think that has been quite a lucky thing for me in lots of ways because I grew up in small business. So my family had hotels, we had milk bars, which is a colloquial term for a corner store that sold milk and bread and cigarettes. So I've learned from a very early age a service life. And so I took myself off in my early 20s and just thought about what I would like to do. And I thought I really enjoy people. I enjoy them heaps. I love relationships and I love talking and meeting people. And I wanted to pair that with a passion. And I thought, well, dog grooming would be great. And I just thought I'd give it a go. I had a little dog before I traveled overseas. And I think I was charged $35. This is like 30 years ago. And that was a big deal. That was a big price back then. And so I thought, oh, well, there's got to be money in it and it's got to be fun. And how hard can it be? So I took myself off to a place called the Victorian School of Dog Grooming. And back in the day, Daphne Callender was really the only person who had any sort of formal qualifications in grooming. She'd been to America and she'd studied a similar thing to a master groomer, I guess. So she had a very high ticket and I was fortunate to stay with her for 3 years. And I really learnt and developed my craft there. So it was a great beginning.
Oh, that's great. So you started with someone, in France, we have this, I would say issue because it is an issue. All young groomers, as soon as they get a diploma or training, they just buy and open a business.
Yeah,
they don't
right.
get employed, they don't learn or develop their skills with someone, so it's quite an issue. But you didn't stop there because you've got a grooming salon now, you've got a grooming school, you've got an importing business, an educational website. Well, my first question with all that is, do you still spend a lot of time in your salon?
Of course. You know, I think I've never ever, after all of these years, and I'm, you know, at a very big age now, I feel like I'm at a big age. I still love the bench work. And so I still have a client base that is solely mine. And I still really enjoy being on the tools. And since we've got back into lockdown, I've had 2 weeks of hard physical work. It hasn't killed me, it's made me stronger. But wow, it's tough on your body as you get older. And you know that will be possibly the catalyst if I ever have to slow down. Is just how physical and demanding this job is. But there is no way I could actually be in the industry at the moment without having the bench work, and I just love it. I love mucking in with a team. I love the physical, you know, just the turning around of a dog. You know, a dog comes in, they're terrible, they look ratty. They go out, the owners are happy, the dogs are happy, you're happy. It is such a good feeling, and that has never left me. And I think that that is, you know, that passion stays with you if you are really into a career. And of course, you're always looking around the corner. What else can I do? Is there something over there? Or what's that person doing? I wonder if I could do that. And that's really a motivation for just wanting to be better, just wanting to improve the industry. And I guess that, you know, when I was starting off in the industry, there weren't many role models that I had to really look up to. In fact, you know, most of the people, and this is a true story, that a lot of people learnt to groom by someone in their backyard wearing bathers and thongs. You know, that's just how we people learnt to groom. But it has changed so much now, and it is lovely to be part of the revolution of the new way of grooming. And yeah, and it's great to have had a past and, you know, a present area where I am, but also a future. And that's what grooming does for you. It's great.
Yeah, because well, now you teach, you have a grooming
Yeah,
school, and you
yeah.
recently you opened an educational website. So when did you open your grooming school?
Well, about so after I was with the Victorian School of Dog Grooming, I did about 5 years in the field, and I think you're right. You really touched on something there, Nat, that we often overlook, and it is the legwork in the field really sets you up if you can pass or fail, and gives you then permission to open a business. And yeah, lots of people just do a course and open a business, and that's great because they've got the education now. But before we didn't have that. So I had a really good grounding in vet clinics and pet stores. I did a little bit from home and all around the place. And when I opened my own salon here in Seddon, which was next year it'll be 21 years, I could tell straight away that I was going to be swamped, and there was no way I could service all of the dogs in my area. So I thought, okay, it's time to actually get some people in, train them up so that they can help me. And that's how Dog Diversity was really born.
That's great. So
Yeah.
you're also incredibly involved, well, in teaching, of course, in your school, but in developing it in all Australia, in your country, if I'm not mistaken. So can you tell us all your efforts to, well, to create a more recognized diploma or job, if I can
Yeah,
say it?
sure. Yeah, that's another good question because it is a very difficult question to answer because there are two ways that we can teach in Australia. One of them is a freestyle private training school, which I own and have. The other one is to get a certificate, which sits in between like a companion animal services. So it gives you a very broad range of what the industry is about. Both of those courses sit in the industry with, you know, they're really what we lean on. They're what people need as business owners to employ people. I would love to see in this country a national ticket that it was like almost like a trade, because that's what we are, a trade. And I would love it to be recognized. And the only way we can really do that is to um, really let the government know how what we do, and you know, make them aware of our risks, make them aware of what we are capable of, and to put a little banner over that and say, okay, this person has gone through an apprenticeship, if you like, or a recognized course that means that they'll come out with this knowledge. And to me, that's really important. Whether or not it's done privately or it's done nationally, I really don't mind, as long as the accreditation is there. And you're right, I was part of a recent government program through Skills Impact that actually had a really good look at our current certification, we took it apart, we put it back together, and you'll be happy to know there is a little bit of skin stuff in there. So, so which is really, really
I
important,
am
I think. So,
happy.
yes, indeed. Yep. And so, and that'll be rolled out in the months to come, and it will really change the way we teach a Cert 3. But at least it will standardise the training in Australia, which really needs to happen, and give people a platform and get so groomers know how to groom correctly and safely, but also gives the business owners some sort of understanding, that when they take on a person, that they have the skills and the knowledge that the courses have given them.
Well, that's great because I think it's the same everywhere, but at the moment there is really a lack of education in how to run a business, to run properly
Yes.
your business. So you are going in the big, wide world of business, and maybe you know how to groom, but you don't know how to make a living out of it, run properly your business. And I think it's something that generally lack in the training courses at the moment. So yeah, that's great.
That's true, actually. That is very true, because it's one thing to have a craft and to have a trade. It is a very, very different thing to run a business. And you can have as much passion as you like and as much enthusiasm, but if you don't know how to run a business and you don't know how to communicate with people or to organize a schedule or to manage a team, you really will fall over fairly quickly.
Exactly. So I see
Yeah.
behind you, I see Igroom Hub education
Yes.
poster. So can you tell us what Igroom Hub is?
I'd love to. And you know what? It's been a real joy, this journey, because for the first time in my career, I have had a collaboration. And Nikki Renwood, who has Australian Dog Grooming School, we got together and we just thought that, this is like 4 years ago, and we thought, wouldn't it be great if we had a little resource centre when our students left our course? So they leave our course, they've got all the knowledge and we know what they've taught them, but it's very easy for a student to forget something unless they're doing it on rote. And so we wanted to be able to give our students something that they could refer to, that was written in our language, that was plain and simple, and that was tutorial based, kind of like having a mentor next to you while you're grooming a dog. So we got together and we made heaps of mistakes, and we made lots of errors financially and in filming, and we learnt so much. And so now, after 4 years, we are really proud of our efforts, and we have a fabulous website that is a reference for TAFEs. Many TAFEs have taken it up, so that's our national recognised sort of qualification, that they're using it as a reference, but also for our individual students or anyone who is interested in grooming. So it has over 400 videos, tutorial videos, but it has lots of business stuff and lots of how we look after our bodies and how important how important it is for us to be able to cope with stress and to deal with daily life, and just lots and lots of anything that you can think about in business. It's in there and it's packaged up. And we have courses in there as well. So we run different courses. And also, I'm really proud of a new course that we've just released, which is kind of like a Train the Trainer. Are you familiar with Train the Trainer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we've done a little course there that teaches people how to teach other groomers, and
Yeah, yeah,
as well as
because you can be
yeah,
a
yeah. So
very
that's really
good
cool.
groomer, you can be the best of the groomers and be an horrible teacher and not being able
Yeah,
to pass the knowledge on the others. On the contrary, some people are average in what they do, but are very good teachers, and they will be able to make
absolutely,
the others do things right, even though they are not able to
absolutely.
make it perfect. So yes, when you want to teach, it's important to learn how to do it. Unless, well, no, some
Yes.
people have the gift to do it, but some don't. So yes.
It's a craft, just like anything else, isn't it? Really. So,
Yeah.
and if you don't have someone mentoring you and telling you how people work and how to reach them or how to engage or how to re-engage, then it's tricky. So yeah, so we're really proud of that course that we've put together as well.
So
Hmm.
is it accessible just for Australian groomers, or can everybody register or access it?
You are so good to ask that question, because no, it is absolutely accessible worldwide. So it's online. It's www.igroomhub.com.au, and it's a great resource. It's a great resource for business. It's a great resource for beginners, intermediate, and advanced groomers. So a lot of the content is Australian, but we do have a couple of Canadian and American people on there as well. And we're looking to expand our library as well. So yeah, it's
That
good.
sounds
And it's a
wonderful.
great thing to collaborate with another person who's just as passionate about the industry as I am. So Nikki's been in the industry as long as I have. She's done the show stuff and she's done lots of competitions and has had a really different story to me. Whereas I have just I really enjoy the face-to-face training and the grooming. So I'm not a competitor in that sense, but we have got together and we're really complementary. So and that's been a real joy.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I think I have to thank you in the name of all the groomers in the world for putting together such a great tool. So thank you to Nikki and Natalie. And
Thank you.
so you also have an important business, have you?
Yeah, look, I was fascinated about how it all works, really. And so I've got a friend who is very knowledgeable in that area. And I thought, well, I'm collaborating with one pal. I may as well collaborate with another. And I got involved in his business, which is importing and exporting. And so we've gone to China and we've like developed some relationships there. And we're bringing back some material to on sell for groomers, which is really fun. And it gives me a bit of a chance to have a look at what happens overseas, how it's manufactured, how it all works and goes together. And really, when you visit big trade shows like that, you realise that it takes about 2 or 3 years to filter into Australia. So the products that I saw 2 years ago are coming into Australia now, and it's just that's how we roll over here, I think. So it's nice to be a
Oh,
little bit in front of the game.
oh my God. So, well, I've got a question that, as we say in French, that burns my lips. How do you
Ooh.
find the time for all this? Obviously, I mean, you must have a hell of a team working with you, or otherwise, I don't know how you would do that on your own.
You know what? I really I don't like to use the word successful, but I have really enjoyed my grooming life because of the people around me, and I wouldn't be who I was without them. So currently, I have a team of about 17, and they all bring their own skills. They all bring something really new and different and exciting. People have stayed with me for 15 years. People have stayed with me for 2 or 3 years, and all of those different people bring something new, and it gives the business a really lovely injection, if and a focus. So the passion of the people that I have, if they're looking at rescue, or they're looking at competition, or they're looking at how to get business going, it's really great to get their input. And I love working with people. I love relationships, and I love building them and maintaining them to that level as well. So yeah, it's a big operation here.
Oh my
Well, we
God.
think it's big. 17 is a big team to manage, but it's a
Well,
joy.
I think for grooming industry, it's quite big. I mean, there's not a lot of groomer that can say, well, I have a team of 17 people around me. Obviously, it's not only
Yeah.
grooming, but still, I think that for our industry, it's quite big, yes. And well,
Yeah.
do you feel like being a woman was a disadvantage or an advantage to evolve in the business world?
Well, I don't really have anything to compare it to be honest. So I'm not too sure. I know that the industry is very heavily based with a female presence. So it is definitely, and even over my years, there's more men coming into it now, which is great. But I think the broader question for me, Natalie, is not an advantage or a disadvantage, but it's how you perceive the luck that you have where you are. And whether I was a male or a female, I'm pretty sure I would have had the same outcome. And fortunately, I have wonderful parents who set me up to say, Nat, you can do anything you like in life. You can do absolutely anything you like. And that gave me permission to just trust myself and just to really relax into who I am. And I think that is the greatest gift. Whether you're male or female, I think that is the way. But definitely the old importing business, it helps to be a man.
You see?
Yeah. There are some things that, you do need a man for. And the importing one is definitely one of them. But everything else, because it's all about relationships. It's all about, how we treat each other and how we respect each other. And women are, on the whole, pretty good at that.
Well,
So,
that's wonderful. Well, it's been wonderful chatting with you. You are amazing, Natalie, and I can't thank you enough for being with us now.
Thank you. That's very gracious, but I don't think I'm that amazing. I really enjoy watching what you're doing, and your networking skills, how you bring people around the world together, are just fantastic. It's really great. And sometimes this industry can be very fragmented, but the way you are bringing people together is great, and it should be celebrated. So well done to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So, I wish you the very best for the future, and well, I'll see you soon, hopefully.
I hope so. Good on you. Thank you. Take care. Bye.